To create a predefined, bookable event, click on the Manage tab and then click on Event Products. You should see 3 event products already created for you that you can edit or delete. To create a new event product, click on the floating plus button in the lower right corner. Let's first start off by editing an existing event product by clicking on the event product that we want to modify. Let's modify the group lesson predefined event product. Here we are in the detail view of the group lesson event product where we can make changes. The event type is set to lesson. When we click on it, we can change the type. There are 4 types: lesson, training, group sign up, and other. Group sign up can be used for events where you need a head count or to limit the number of attendees. This can be useful for events such as demonstrations and clinic sessions, or fun events like parties. Since this is a group lesson event, let's leave the type set to lesson. Next, we modify the title and description to whatever we need it to display. The next field is the trainers field. If you have multiple trainers at your facility, you can limit which trainers are bookable for this event. For example, you might have a specific trainer that teaches the beginner classes and you only want to allow clients to book with that trainer. In that scenario, you would select the trainer that teaches those classes so that only he or she can be booked for that class. If any trainer can teach the class, do not select any trainers. This will allow all trainers to be bookable. In our scenario here, Janet teaches the beginner classes and Danny teaches the more advanced students. We will select Janet so that clients cannot book with Danny for this class. After the event duration field is a field called post-event padding. This field is useful in the case where you want time in between each booking, or if you want your bookable time slots to fall within a regular sequence, such as on the hour or on the half hour. For example, if your lesson is 45 minutes long but you want the time slots to fall on the hour, you would set a 15-minute post-event padding to accomplish this. If the 45-minute lesson starts at 7 a.m. and you want the next lesson to start at 8, rather than 7:45, set a 15-minute post-event padding, which would push the next available start time to 8 a.m. If you don't want any padding between your classes, just leave this blank and the next bookable time slot would line up with the end of the previous time slot. Let's set this to an hour-long lesson with no padding between each lesson. The resources field defines where the event can take place. If you leave this field blank, any available resource is a potential location for this event. If you have multiple locations created, but some locations are not suitable for the event, you need to set the locations that are suitable for this event so that the ones that aren't suitable are excluded. When a location has capacity and booking limits set on it, once the limit is reached for one or the other, the location is considered full or busy, and the system will auto-assign the next available location to future bookings. Trainers and admins can always choose to override this and decide to overbook the location or manually set whichever location they need. Since we are setting up a group lesson, we don't want to include the round pen, so we will select only the arena locations. The event visibility defaults to organization, which means that anyone who is a member of your stable can see the information about this event's bookings. This means that clients can see that other clients have booked this event and when it is occurring. If the booking is a group event, they can then add themselves to the booking if there is an available spot to join. If you set the event's visibility to private, the booked events and its details are invisible to anyone who is not a direct participant on the booking itself. The booking availability start date is the date you want to allow scheduling to start on the event. This is useful if you are creating an event that you want to become bookable on a specific date in the future. If you would like the event to be bookable immediately, choose today. Or if it's already set to a past date, then you can leave it as is. Next, select the days of the week that this event can be booked on, and then set the bookable time windows for each day. For our example, the event is currently set for Monday through Saturday, and it is not bookable for Sunday. We want to change that so that it is bookable for Sunday and not bookable for Monday. We do that by checking the box for Sunday and uncheck the box for Monday. Now we need to make sure our booking windows are correct. Tuesday is set to be bookable from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Wednesday is also set to be bookable from 7 to 7. However, Wednesdays might be popular days for kids' lessons, so we want to allow more granularity for booking start times to be more flexible for the parents by allowing the option for the lesson to start either at the top of the hour or on the half hour. In order to do that, we click on the little plus icon next to the day of the week that we want to add an additional booking window to. This added another time window to Wednesday that we can set to allow bookings starting on the half hour. Since the first booking window is set to start at 7 a.m. and go until 7 p.m., we want to set this new window to start at 7:30 a.m. and go until 7 p.m. You might be wondering, why would we want to set it to 7 p.m. and not 6:30 or 7:30 p.m.? Let's say we have a hard stop at 7 p.m. and don't want to run later than that. We can safely set the end of the booking window to line up with whatever time our quitting time is. This means that on this 60-minute group lesson, the last lesson that can be booked starts at either 5:30 or 6 p.m. Since a 6:30 p.m. start time would exceed our 7 p.m. stop time, the system won't offer that start time as an option. The system will also prevent scheduling conflicts and will not allow the bookings to overlap. This means that if someone books 7:30 a.m., the next available start time would be 8:30 or 9 o'clock. The recurrence options on each booking window allows this window to recur on whatever basis you set. It defaults to recur weekly, which means that this booking window will be available every week on that day of the week. In this example, these two windows we created on Wednesday will be open for booking every Wednesday indefinitely until you change the booking window settings or unpublish the event. Alternatively, you can choose to allow the window to recur until a specific date, which can be useful for things like summer camps that end on a specific date, or you can set the recurrence to end after a number of occurrences. For example, if you offer a 2-part class that takes place on Wednesday, you can set the recurrence schedule to end after 2 recurrences. Let's set this back to recur every week until we change it. Let's set up another scenario on Sunday, where we need to have a gap in the middle of the day and can't take bookings for this event. After adding the first booking time window, we simply add another one by clicking the plus button next to the day of the week and enter the time for the second time window. We have successfully set up Sunday's booking availability to be from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. with a 2-hour gap from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. The scheduling options section is where you can control the number of bookings as well as configure your client's ability to create and modify their bookings. This is where you can set the class size and number of bookings for this event that can occur simultaneously. This is advantageous if you have multiple trainers at your barn and your facility cannot easily accommodate more than 1 or 2 bookings at the same time. This setting only restricts concurrent bookings for the event it is specified on. Next, you can define whether or not you want to allow your clients to be able to schedule, reschedule, or cancel a booking for this event. Trainers and admins can always perform these actions regardless of any restrictions set here. These booking rules only apply to users with client-only permissions. HayNet gives you the ability to set restrictions for how far in advance clients can book, as well as enforce a minimum amount of time they must book prior to the start time. In this example, we have set the rules to 4 hours minimum and 14 days maximum to schedule before. By doing this, the system will enforce that a user cannot book less than 4 hours prior to the start time and cannot book more than 14 days out. If you want to allow your clients to reschedule and/or cancel a booking, you can optionally set a minimum reschedule or cancellation period, which can be different for each. If you set a minimum reschedule or cancellation period, the system will disallow members with client-only privileges to perform these actions if they are not within the allowable time window, unless you have a late cancellation fee set. If no late cancellation fee is set, the booking remains in place and the client will be charged for it unless an admin or trainer cancels or reschedules for the client. If you have applied a global late cancel fee, which can be set in the Manage Billing and Invoice Settings screen of the app, then that fee will automatically apply to all event products except where explicitly overridden on the individual event product. This means that if you have set the global late cancellation fee to 50% and then leave the late cancellation fee field on the individual event product blank, it will default to the 50% fee. If you have the global late cancellation fee set to 50% and then enter 25% on the event product, then it will override the global setting and set the late cancellation fee for this particular event to be 25%. Now that we've covered that, let's back up and review the rest of the billing options section. The price field allows you to set the individual pricing for this event. This is the amount that the client will be billed if they are not using a prepaid credit, also known as a token, to cover this charge. If you offer prepaid services and it applies to this event, you can accept prepaid tokens as a form of payment by checking the box that says, "Allow pay with prepaid credits." When you check this box, another field will appear where you can select the token types that you wish to accept for this event. We have created some common token types for you already, but if you don't see the type you want and wish to create a new custom type, you can do so by clicking the plus button next to the field, which will display the Create Token form. Enter the desired token name, and then click on the Save Type button. This new type is now saved to your organization and is assignable to any event product that you wish to assign it to. You can optionally designate a school horse fee to this event product. If you set a school horse fee, a school horse option will become available when booking this event when the user selects an equine at time of booking. This will ensure that school horse fees are never forgotten, as they will be automatically billed to the client. The override billing period field is an optional field if you have a global setting enabled for billing period. The billing period will adopt whatever the global setting is, but if you need to have a different billing period or billing day for this particular event product, then you can override whatever the global setting is. The final option is whether or not this event should be published or not. If you publish the event, then it immediately becomes visible and bookable. If you unpublish the event, it is saved but is no longer visible to users. You can use this feature to turn off booking for an event or to save drafts that aren't ready to go live yet. Once you have finished editing, click the Save button. The final steps are to create your board products and then turn on recurring subscription billing. Return to the video library to learn how to do this.